Late last week, I said publicly that I'll be bringing a bill to Parliament to address the crisis that had arisen as a result of the enforcement by the police of the provision in the new Road Traffic Act requiring taxis and other public passenger vehicles to have child restraint systems. As everyone is well aware, the enforcement of that provision by the police resulted in many taxi operators being unwilling to transport children, because up until now, it has not been the practice for public passenger vehicles to have child restraint systems in them, and indeed internationally, that is not the practice. As a result, many children were left stranded, unable to attend school or return from school, and there were many videos circulating in social media of mothers complaining bitterly about the effect of this on their children. In accordance with the commitment that I gave, I had the bill prepared, vetted by persons who are very experienced in legal reform and parliamentary drafting, and I moved a motion in the House of Representatives today to have the leave of the House to introduce this bill. This is the bill here, and what the bill would do is two things. First of all, it would amend the section in the Road Traffic Act that deals with child restraint systems by saying that the provisions that would penalize a driver by way of a fine, a ticketable fine, and demerit points would not apply to drivers who are operating a public passenger vehicle. The bill also would relieve from any criminal liability any driver since the 1st of February who had been ticketed under that provision, and remove any demerit points consequent on that ticketing. That was dealt with in a specific provision in the bill. Unfortunately, the government used its majority to prevent consequent on that ticketing. That was dealt with in a specific provision in the bill. Unfortunately, the government used its majority to prevent me getting leave to have this bill introduced. The minister responsible for transport indicated that they will be bringing regulations, an amendment to the existing regulations to put in place a system of no restraint requirements effectively for children in public passenger vehicles, and optional restraint requirements depending on the age of the child. But that will not address the question of the tickets already issued to taxi operators and the fines and demerit points which they are facing from the enforcement of this particular law since February 1. So that remains an issue which is unresolved. I'm very disappointed that the government chose to use its majority in this way, because the bill was intended to solve that particular problem, and also I think would have been a signal to the taxi operators who are restive and are in fact withdrawing service in various parts of the country that Parliament is doing something about it. The announcement of an amendment to come may or may not provide them with the same level of comfort as actual legislation brought to the House, which is what I did.